Hey, welcome to the Fine Print, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Caleb Teskey. Another great guest for you today here, guys. One that was supposed to happen last year and kind of got rescheduled for a minute, but I'm super excited for the show today. Let's do the homework off the top. My last couple of guests, guys, really good shows here with Ebo from Gaston. They got the manufacturing over there in Williston, and they got the dispensary in Essex. Jordan Kagi from Verdigity Organics. They got the dispensary down in Manchester and the Tier 1 indoor grow, and just put a new grow shop in down there. And I got some cool stuff coming up. I don't know. I got North Node Gardens. Zach is going to join me from North Node Gardens. They got a Tier 1 indoor grow and a couple more I'm going to keep under my hat for the moment. But today's guest is a guy I met through one of my previous guests, Michael Thomason at Infused Productions. And he's the co-owner and CFO of BlazeXpress in Massachusetts. Please welcome to the show, Duane Harden. Duane, thanks for being here, man.
Hey, what's up, people? What's up?
Cool. Before we do anything serious, Duane, can we get a 5-minute life story?
I'm a Georgia boy, went to BU, and that's how I got into Massachusetts, and life is life. And I've been through a couple of different industries. And when COVID happened and we were all sitting at home, I said, what's next? And I had 3 friends, actually one passed away from cancer. And at that time, only medical was legal. And I was like, okay, what's next? Adult use came, and December 2020, I said, I want to get into the legal cannabis industry to make a difference in people's lives. And so, did some research and decided to do a delivery operator license here in Massachusetts.
Now, Duane, do you want to tell us about your time in the music biz at all?
So as I said, I've been totally a couple of different industries. So when I was at BU, I met this guy, Mon Van Helden, who's now a pretty good DJ, and had a kind of like a thing going on in house music, and I still do today. So I had some success in the music business, and that's part of that where I got the money to do this business. So, yeah.
Awesome. Here, we're going to throw you in the big box for the rest of this. Cool. And I see we got a couple people watching, guys. If you got any questions for Duane as we go through, feel free to drop them in the comments there and I'll read them. So Duane, the weed industry, notoriously tough, slim margins. It seems like
very slim.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a gamble. Like why decide to get into the weed game?
Well, back in 2020, when I, did the initial business plan, things were like, you could, eighth was like $70. Today, you could buy them around my way for $8. So talking about slim, they're really slim. And, the dispensaries are all competing not all of them, but most of them are competing in the race to the bottom. And then we got the economy. I had customers, they were ordering, and then haven't seen them in a while. So what happened? I lost my job. I'm in foreclosure. I just don't have the money, things like that, man. And it's tough. So this has been a struggle, a real struggle. But what makes it worth it all is when I go and I do a delivery to this lady, I won't mention her name, like in Chicopee. And she's like, yeah, bring me my candy bars, because I told my doctor I don't want to get addicted to these pain pills. So bring me my candy bars. Or I go and deliver to this guy who he can't eat or swallow. All his hydration and food come through IV through bags. And although medical delivery is not available to him, at least we are. And so all the bull crap you got to put up in this industry, and I tell you, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm hoping we're going to dive into some of that.
even the regulators that make you feel like we're set up to fail from day one. You know what I mean? With all the strict regulation, and I'm like, come on, man! Like you're writing me up for violations of things that, and I get it. These are what the guidelines are, but those guidelines were written by people who probably are not doing this business. It's things that we just got to do, man, to try to survive. Again, the margins are thin, so I am what they call like cheap coat bottle washer. Like in the beginning, I'm doing inventory, I'm doing the deliveries, I'm the accountant, I'm the janitor, I'm the driver, I'm everything. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle, man.
Guys, I'm here with Duane Harden, BlazeXpress. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty of the business, I was hoping you would tell everyone about the social equity program, because it's one thing I've been particularly interested in from different state to state to see how that works. So would you mind telling us about, I've talked to a couple other people, but I'd be curious to hear your experience with that.
So our experience, well, actually, to be a delivery operator in Massachusetts is right now it's only exclusively offered that particular license types to social equity companies. And to qualify for social equity, it's merely you have to have residency. I think here in Mass, they've identified like 30 towns that they did studies and said these towns were negatively impacted by the war on drugs. And so this is kind of like their, we're sorry, this is their amends of offering this program, right? And then so if you live 5 years out of the previous 10 years in one of those towns, or if you have a parent that was convicted of marijuana charges, there's some other things how you can qualify as well. But mainly for us, it was living in one of those towns. Then it's a easy process to prove that you lived in one of those towns, residency. And then you submit your application and you get approved. Now, I don't know, I'm trying to be truthful, but then at the same time, like encouraging and stuff. So really, the social equity program was just a designation, at least my experience. And they had all these online, courses and speakers that would give presentations to help you understand basically business, not just cannabis, but basically how to run a business. And I think if you've never been on the boss side of things, I think it's kind of great. But outside of that, the biggest struggle is you need money, So you need money to start these businesses. And then, you need a proper training that once you get that money and you open, how to stay in business. And so they have that training, but I wish it was more focusing on how to get the money. But that's when we first started. Now, I say the biggest positive, at least for Massachusetts, is that they started the social equity grant.
Yeah.
So for those of you out there who you qualify for social equity, you're in Massachusetts, definitely. Actually, if I was you in this race to the bottom market, as you said earlier, the margins are thin. I'm sorry, I would not. I want to be encouraging, but then also realistic and truthful. I would not get into this industry, at least in Massachusetts, unless I had the grant money. I wouldn't go and borrow money from your cousins, your family, friends, raising money from investors, because you got to pay that stuff back. You need to be responsible and pay them back. I think just last month, the CCC sent out a communication that they have a licensee. They have a freeze on issuing licenses for grows, I think, for the next 120 days.
Interesting.
What is it saying? You're, a day late, dollar short, or something like that. Like, I think it's way too late. The market is oversaturated. And the only way it's going to get better is, unfortunately, I think a lot of companies are going to have to go out of business. And it's sad to say a lot of those may be social equity businesses because we don't have deep pockets, like these guys. So I would not get into this industry at this point, the way it is, if I wasn't getting the grant money. So if you're out there, they kind of make the announcement like around November. Just Google Mass Social Equity Trust Fund, and even before that, to be able to apply, you need to be social equity. So if I was you, I would Google today, go to masscannabiscontrol.com, whatever, apply to get your because you have to have the social equity status before you can apply for the grant fund. So I think like there's they have 4 different tiers, and like if you even just thinking about it, I think you could get like 25 grand or something like that in tier 1, all the way up to this year. I'm in tier 4 because we're open and operating. The maximum was 300,000 for social equity business. But it's not just delivery, it's all the license types. Again, social equity is how you qualify. But I would go today because it's a process to get approved. We're almost in July. Yeah, I would start now because they are slow. Even though it's an easy process, they are slow in responding. Don't want to talk bad about the CCC, but I'm just being real. They are slow. I would apply today. And then by November, you have your social equity status. They announce the next round of grant money for next year. And then I would submit my application for the grant money. If I got the grant money, then I would open up a cannabis business or what they call ancillary business to support the cannabis industry. That's what I would use the grant money for. But if I would, no grant money, don't open, bro. At least not in Massachusetts.
It does seem like the cost of entry in Massachusetts is significantly higher than Vermont. And I talked to some guys who we tell people about these like community host agreements or whatever. Do you know
oh boy, what a process. So yeah, so actually I think there was like some fraud, some what do you call it? Like oh boy, not blackmail. What do you call it? Like I gotta pay to play type thing, whatever. And
yeah,
it came out in one of the towns or something with the local officials there. So what happens is, sure, adult use or cannabis, whether adult use or medical, is legal in Massachusetts. And yes, you can open a business. However, to open up that business, you need to find a municipality that will allow you to open up that business, right? And so the CCC says, well, the way that you let us know that the local town or city will allow you to open up this cannabis business is through a host community agreement. But there was kickbacks. There was all kind of kickbacks happening, all these things, and different people had different forms of them. So I think it was last year, the CCC finally made a standardized process of a host community agreement that you have to follow, and that should stop all the illegal kickbacks, forcing you to have to pay to play type thing. And that's another thing I want to talk about, what they call the green tax. Go to open up a cannabis business. You go to this town, you have to find a place. And like for us, it was a struggle because, okay, just because we're in Holyoke. So just because Holyoke says that you can be a cannabis business, there's something called zoning laws, and they only will allow cannabis businesses to be open up in certain neighborhoods. And then you have restrictions, can't be close to a school, like all these things. So you're hunting for property, and you're beholden to the landlord, because oh man, you're a cannabis business? Okay, I'm going to charge you 3 times the regular market rent for this place because I know you're going to be making money. So that's the green tax, right? Well, at least they thought we were. Yeah. So I had to do a verbal renegotiation on that lease. I say, hey, I can't afford to pay you this money. And it's kind of also bad too for the landlord. I feel bad for our landlord because we are a cannabis business. Our landlord went to the bank to get money to refinance his mortgage, and they wouldn't do it because it was like, you have a cannabis business inside your operation, so we can't lend you money. And that's another thing. Like as a delivery company, when we first started, I went and tried to get car loans, to buy the cars to do the deliveries in. And I got denied a lot of places because it's a cannabis business. So until the federalization happens, if that will ever happen, who knows? I'm really hoping that the rescheduling happens because That's the other thing, you know. Again, I want to be encouraging, but I feel like I'm just working for the government. Those are the only people making the money here. The state is making the money from the 21% tax. And it's so funny. I can't go to a bank to open up a bank account or to get cards or loans to start a business and now to keep the business afloat. But yet every month I'm borrowing, right, money to the IRS to pay my estimated tax payments. But you won't let me do it's something called the 280. You won't let me do any deductions, basically, because I don't touch. I'm not what they call plant touching. You know, as a delivery operator, I buy all prepackaged goods. So I don't really have any cost of goods sold to really deduct. So I'm paying like 100% tax. And it's just, so I like, yeah, I'm in business, but I'm working to make the government richer, both state and federal. So as a grower, though, you can take some deductions. So I can't deduct the gas, the car payments, the car insurance, the payroll cost, rent, nothing. Dang. So I'm like, okay, great. You guys came up with social equity, and that's great to give the little guys like us a fair shot to participate in legal cannabis. But it's like we were set up to fail from day one, with the landlords charging 3 or 4 times the rent they should be from the property, to these host community agreements with, you know, I was not doing a major build out in our space, but you have to go in front of the city council and present your case. I had to hire an architect, I had to do all these things, and we weren't building anything, but it was required to get what they call the special permit to get the host community agreement to open. And then while you're doing all this, you don't have a license. So I had to rent a space and pay for cars without no license, because the way Massachusetts has it set up, you cannot sell 1 ounce of weed until you have been approved. And the way they approve you is you got to have the whole business set up. And they come in and do an inspection for the cameras and make sure that you're going to follow all the regulations. And it's a hurry up and wait game of how you're sitting there. And they only meet once a month to approve the crazy. So the inspector comes in to do your inspection, but yet you have to sit and wait for 3 or 4, it depends, because they can't get the board together at the CCC. It's like musical chairs of who's there, but they only meet once a month. So you have to do this, a provisional license and then final license. Literally, we were like 1.5 years of this process. And then like, where do you get the money from? You know, you're paying rent on something, on a business you can't generate any income on. It's the craziest thing ever. You want me to be in business, but I can't make money to pay for the business. So
yeah,
really
you're not the first person to say that either, Duane, which I've found to be nuts, dude. It's like you got to pay. Someone told me they were paying rent for like a year on a warehouse that they couldn't do any business out of. That's bananas.
Literally almost went bankrupt before even opening the business.
So let me ask you this, Duane. How do you source your products? Do you have to buy from dispensaries, or can you get from growers directly? How does that work?
Yeah, so the delivery operator licenses that I buy from growers or product manufacturer, people who buy from growers and package it themselves. I can also buy in bulk from a grower and package and put my own logo on the product, but I can't grow it. I don't buy from dispensaries. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I buy wholesale from the cultivators directly or from a product manufacturer. I call myself the Amazon of weed, right? I buy the prepackaged products. They're already packaged. I don't do bulk and rebranding, because another thing is, okay, all right, so we're in this race to the bottom. And another dispensary just opened again, but I don't understand. But, like my friend said, well, maybe they've been like you 5 years in the process and was like, we're too far into this to turn back now. we've invested so much money, so we gotta open. We've come too far. But hold on, where was I going to go? Oh, so again, you got to be smart about the money. So I said from the beginning, I do what's called consignment, which wholesale is going to hate you for. So meaning I'll tell them, hey, send your product to me. I'll put it on my shelves, on my menu. When it sells, or if it sells, I'll pay you. And I said this from day one on the Zoom meetings during COVID and all this stuff. And the wholesalers would agree. I didn't realize that they get paid when they ship the product. So their boss pays them when they ship the product. It doesn't matter whether that grower collects. So right now I have a collection agency after me because I'm not paying. The product didn't sell, it expired. And I said, if it doesn't sell, I'll let you know so you can pick it back up and give it to a dispensary that's moving. Because we start off with 0 customers, right? So I started off with that business model knowing, hey, I don't have the money to buy product and let it just sit and hoping to sell. We're in this together. We are 50-50 partners. So you need to move product. I need to deliver it. We're both are going to share in the risk. If it doesn't sell, you come and pick it back up. Well, some company, of course, all the wholesalers agree. I didn't learn till after I started getting these collection notices and that wholesaler no longer works. One of them was not even in Massachusetts anymore. And here I'm hung out to dry and the companies are suing me, but I'm not paying because that was our agreement. And the product expired. And again, I think if I was entering Massachusetts first, I would get the grant money and I would do what I'm doing. And this is what I tell the wholesalers anyway. I say, listen, at least I'm honest and upfront with you. I'm not going to pay you if your product doesn't sell. What dispensaries is doing is that they're taking in your product and they're not paying you. You're having to chase them anyway for the money. So I'm telling you upfront, this is what I'm going to do. This is the only way that I can survive. I don't have the money. So actually, I think it was last year, the CCC sent out an announcement that I think starting next year, they do like the alcohol commission. If somebody has not paid their bills, they're, I think, like 90 days delinquent, they're going to go on a statewide list. Yeah. And if that vendor, if that licensee is on that list, according to state regulations, I think that's what's going to happen. They're not going to be able to do business with any other licensee. If and when that happens, let me tell you how many people are going to go out of business. Because I'll speak to wholesale. Oh, yeah, that company, they owe me 50 grand. Oh, yeah, they owe us 80 grand. Oh, people are not paying their bills because it's a struggle in the market. It's a struggle in the market. So I think if they start that, people are going to be forced to go out of business if they start that statewide delinquency list.
In New York, they're doing that, but it's not that you can't do business with anyone. It's that it's like cash on delivery only, I think. If you're delinquent, then you're not allowed to get anything on the front. You got to pay cash. I think that's how it works. But yeah, I see Massachusetts is trying to. I hope they do something like that here. And you're absolutely right, dude. A lot of people probably would go out of business.
Yeah. So, but I've run that model from the beginning, and thank God the brands that I carry now, we pretty much move. But I don't have the customer base to. So not only do I do consignment, so I say, hey, this is what we're going to do, and I don't feel bad because if you say no. There's a gazillion brands. I think there's over 300 or 500 licenses in the state. Somebody's going to do it if you say no. So number one, I'm going to run on consignment. I'll pay you every 2 weeks as to what sold. Number two, I don't have a large customer base. So I can't take full cases. I only take partial. So I call myself, there was a song way back called The Cleanup Woman. I'm the cleanup man. So, I'll get a quantity of one SKU because I don't know where they get their partials from. It's called partials, but it's not a full case. I'll get 9 units of something, 1 unit of something, 10 units of something. My limit is like 15 to 20, depends on what category it's in. I'm like, bro, it's going to sit. The category and the pricing as well. So, I'll get the invoices every week and I look and I say, okay, this will work. Some I'll be like, nope, that's too many units. I don't have the customer base for it. I'm sorry. I've tried everything I could. And I know you haven't really asked me these questions. I'm just talking, but the marketing. So, if I was you out there, if you're going to be on the retail side of things, you think about opening uh, a delivery license, or you're going to be a real establishment, a dispensary, start marketing now. Everybody you can to build your email list, cell phone list, whatever, you know. And then, yeah, I bought cars because I did, you know, I spoke, you know what, I'm going to give them blast. I don't care.
Duane, you're breaking up a little bit, buddy. Oh, there we go.
What about now?
All right, you're breaking up a little.
We got 10,000 people on our platform. You're the only delivery business. You're going to kill it. So I buy all these cars, hire all these people. Day one, nothing. And I depended upon them because they told me they had 10,000 people on the platform. So I didn't do any other pre-marketing because I was like, okay, they're going to let people know. And especially at that time, it was still, you know, still the aftermath of COVID. So delivery's hot. This should be a no-brainer. Nothing. I bought the pot of fool's gold, you know. So I've now learned you got to market, and I've been shut down. It's so sad. My music email was, when you do marketing, if you do anything on social media, make sure it's a brand new email that you're setting up your profiles, because my personal email, which was my music stuff, years of me having a good time in the bees, all this, everything got erased because my cannabis profile was linked to that same email, and Instagram said you are a community violation. We've been kicked off of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. The only people that haven't kicked us off is, guess what? TikTok. I mean, not TikTok. TikTok gave me a community violation as well, but was it Twitter or X? That's the thing. Who even uses it now, right? But and actually, I paid $5,000 to do some marketing on there. I've got no customers from it, but they're the only social media platform that allows cannabis. I've tried all the what they call like black hat marketing, where there's some landing page you'll see in the Instagram ad, a Facebook ad, and you can't say all these words to not get caught, and you press a button. Let me tell you, all these companies, they're just going to take your money like they took mine. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
So how do you find new customers, or how do they find you, Duane?
It's tough, man. The only thing that's the best thing, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to open up a business, I would start now, just even getting a free landing page. SEO, man. SEO, search engine optimization. People go and search cannabis, weed, marijuana delivery near me. And that's how people are finding me now. And that's how they've always found me. And then you would think that happy customers would tell their friends. No, the stigma still. You want a funny story? So there's this lady in Westfield that I delivered to. Now it was July. This was July, hot month, right? She called up. Yeah, I want to please tell the driver when they come, they'll be playing no loud music. I don't want nothing on the car that says we. I was like, ma'am, our vehicles are unmarked. That's actually the state regulation. You can't drive marked vehicles. So we can't advertise BlazeXpress on the car. So I said, ma'am, it's unmarked. Okay, when they get here, tell them that don't be playing loud music and cut off their lights. I'm gonna be behind a tree. This was 8:00 at night in the middle of July, hot, and she come out with a winter coat on, and she come into give me the bag. I said, ma'am, slow down. You gotta have your ID. You have to, you gotta show me you're over 21. We gotta collect payment. Give me the bag. And she only ordered edibles. But these soccer moms, they don't want to go to a PTA, and their friends find out they smoking weed. Or I had another customer. She called again at night. And she was like, I want to get a delivery. I normally go to the dispensary, but my car's broke down. And I don't want to ask my mom or my friends for to the dispensary because I don't want them to know I smoke. So, bro, even though we have happy customers, they won't. A lot of these people are still, and on a sneak tip, they don't want nobody to know. So you would think word of mouth would be a great way, but it's not. It is not. It's a struggle. The marketing is a struggle. Dispensaries have the luxury of having they're paying the higher premium. If you get a good real estate location, you pay a higher premium for the foot traffic. That is your marketing. Your marketing is having your physical sign up that you are a dispensary,
Yeah, I went to one spot down in Boston, right, New Dia, right behind Fenway there. It's a ridiculous amount of foot traffic.
Yeah,
I'm sure when
but
it's out, it's just fucking boom. Lansdowne Street is just packed.
I believe I heard that what they're $2 million behind on their.
Well,
you would think that location be kicking it, but there was I believe it's New Dia that they owe a crazy amount of money in back taxes and like $2 million by. I know Google. I think I see there's an article you find. I think it was the one you just mentioned.
Well, I know they were into some lawsuit with cookies as well, but I don't know how that's going. They got a spot in
it's a struggle.
Well, yeah.
Again, I don't want to be discouraging.
Sorry, Duane.
I don't want to be discouraging. I don't want to be discouraging, but at the same time, I want to be realistic. If you're thinking about getting into this industry, no matter which license type, speak to the people who are going to be your competitors in that license type, and I'm sure they will tell you the do's and the don'ts. I'm not saying not to get in, just do your homework. Do your homework, and find out. Okay, those who are surviving, how is it? What are they doing that's making the difference? That's making the difference, and copy what they're doing. That's my biggest advice.
What I wanted to ask you before I forget about security, man. Like, how do you store your products? Do you guys have to like keep it in a warehouse, or like how do you make sure you're safe when you're out driving and doing deliveries?
I don't know. You think it was, plutonium or heroin or something because the regulation that they have is ridiculous. I mean, come on. It's weed. Like, come on, bro. Like, Massachusetts had up until like 2 Novembers ago, I think it was, you had to have 2 drivers. One had to stay in the car at all times. So I'm just like, hello, today you can buy weed for $8 retail for an eighth. Where are you getting the money to pay for 2 people, let alone 2 people to be in a car? Come on. So they had what they called the 2-driver rule, which thank God they finally got rid of that. I think it's like 2 Novembers ago. And we have to wear a body camera. So on the checkout on that website, it tells people we wear body cameras. We do accept cash, but we don't advertise that we take cash. So that people, let's make it order. So, but most people, we try to encourage them to do, again, we're not supposed to, but take, debit cards and stuff like that. But we try to avoid cash. And that's another thing for safety. And then within the warehouse, I had to pay all this money for cameras. From the moment the product arrives at our warehouse, it has to be on camera. And the CCC, the state regulators, they can come in anytime and say, show me this day at this time when you sold this product. I want to see the employee taking it off the shelves, bagging it, and it going to the car. The product must stay in a locked container within the vehicle at all times. All the vehicles have GPS trackers on it. The drivers have to report in every 30 minutes. I mean, is this heroin? Like, what? $8. I just went to Burger King. It's like $12 for number one. Come on. All this regulation for $8. Give me a break. Yeah.
I mean, that is one thing that you've mentioned, this race to the bottom a couple of times. And, it is crazy. I was just talking about this with my last guest there from Gaston about how the price of everything else is going higher, but people just expect the price of weed to just keep getting cheaper and cheaper.
That's what my wholesaler said. Yep. Gas, groceries, everything else is going higher, but not weed. It's going lower. And I blame us folks in the industry. People aren't going to let you get away with what you get away with. And, the market's oversaturating, and those dispensary owners think that the only way that they can survive is, one, they're not paying their bills, I'm sure, to where they're getting the product from, and to discount it so drastically. I mean, I think maybe we're at the bottom, because after $8 retail for eighth, I think the next is just free, and it can't be free. It can't be free by state regulations. You can't give away product in Massachusetts. There's no giveaways. You have to charge at least a penny. But so maybe $8. Maybe we are at the bottom. Maybe $8 is it. Will I see $5 for eighth or $2 for eighth? Probably not. So well, let me rephrase that. I'm hoping $8 is it, that we're at the bottom. But yeah, man, I don't want to name those dispensaries, but they're what's killing our market. But you got to think. So I deliver basically 10 towns around Holyoke. Holyoke alone has over 7 dispensaries. There's over 40 dispensaries in my target market. 40.
That's crazy.
It's like Chinese restaurants, one on every corner. You could throw a rock and hit one. And that's the other thing. Again, our market has trained the customers to only come to you if you have a sale. That's it. They only come to you if you have a sale. And so I think I don't know how we're going to turn back from this race to the bottom at this $8 for eighth. I don't know how you turn back.
And good. I don't know either, Duane.
Yeah, let's not even talk about the quality of it, where people don't. They don't get that you get what you pay for. But again, as you just said, with inflation, the groceries, everything else is high.
Gas, yeah.
Yeah, but you buying this cheap weed, and it's not good weed, most of it, but you don't care. You don't care. So, I had some customers that I lost to the race to the bottom, and this girl, she came back. She was like, "Yeah, I went to so there's really 2 that I can name off the bat that are really bad. Yeah, and she went to one of them. She's like, yeah, because you guys are expensive. And I was like, the value, you kind of get what you pay for. But I got free delivery. She got in her car and drove 20 minutes. So you took 20 minutes out of your time to drive there and 20 minutes back, and you pay gas because you could buy 8 for $8, but then you don't get high. She's like, yeah. Your stuff is more expensive, but I know when I buy from you, it's gonna get me high. And I'm like, yeah, you get what you pay for. But people just don't get that, man. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just talking.
No, absolutely. You're spot on, Duane. Here, I'm gonna slap this up a couple more times, guys. It's Duane Harden from BlazeXpress. If you're listening, we got 3 people listening. Cool. If you guys got any questions we're talking about delivery here, which we may see in Vermont. They do have a medical endorsement now, so dispensaries can deliver on a limited basis. But yeah, I also wanted to ask you, it sounded like you also mentioned that you're not allowed to deliver to people unless they're at their own house or something like that. Is that true?
Yeah, so the state regulations are, which is crazy, can't deliver to the projects. So any federal subsidized housing, we can't deliver to because it's not federally regulated. You must be at a residential address. So no hotels, no motels. I can't deliver to your job. I get truck drivers all the time. Oh, I'm at the truck stop. No, bro, sorry, no can do. You gotta be I'm gonna say, okay, so you have to be at a residential address, but it doesn't say that you have to live there. So I'd be like, okay, you fine. There's people here in Springfield, the casino, right? They'll call it from the casino. I'm like, I know from my real estate side, I said, there's a house that's on foreclosure right behind you. I can't deliver to the casino, but if you come out your room and walk over to there, because they'll get a text message when I'm on the way. And when I've arrived, I can, because you don't have to be there. You don't have to live there. You must be. And I said, you stand in front of that abandoned house that's in foreclosure, and I give them the address, and I could deliver to you. And do you know how many people I get from the casino like that? Because you can't deliver to a casino. Yeah, but I mean, it's still legal. It's illegal, but I just give them that address.
That seems kind of silly.
It is, and I hope nobody from the CCC is watching this to write me up. Anyway,
I don't think they watch my show too religiously.
But this is. I mean, it's still compliant, but these are the things you got to do, bro. I mean, let me tell you also the stupid stuff. So, again, I was like, what's going to make me different? Something salty, something sweet, cottonmouth, whatever. So I would go to Costco's and I brought a bottle of water, a bag of chips, and a lollipop. So every delivery, you got a bottle of water, lollipop, and a bag of chips. And bro, one of the first write-ups, your license is deliver marijuana products only. You are, what is this about chip water and the lollipop and stuff? I'm like, how do you know that? It's not on my website. They went and read my first inspection. They went and read, because you get once a year, unannounced inspection. Surprise, we caught you type thing. They went and read my Google reviews. Yeah, and it was like, what are these people? Because people are like, yo, I just got my weed delivered. Can you believe it? And they gave me a free bottle of water, and they wrote me up for that.
That's bad.
And they wrote me up for that, and I was like, I'm trying to do. This is a tough market. I'm trying to think of low cost things that I could do that make a difference for people to help grow my business. You know, that's a talking point. Yo, I got my weed and a lollipop and some chips. And so when they wrote me up, we had to stop. Can I tell you how many customers got mad? They would call up and be like, hey, I just got my delivery, but you didn't give me my chips and water. Where's my chips and water? And I said, I'm sorry, but you got to take it up with the state. Wow. They wrote us up. These college kids, these college kids can't deliver on campus, so they will give you just some address. You got to sit and wait for them to ride and all kind of stuff. But I was like, I had what I call my Munchies party pack, a quarter, an ounce and whatever. So I would stop and buy pizza, soda, plates, napkins, the whole thing with your weed, right? You could order. And the state wrote me up for that. I understood. Okay, no. First, they wrote me up for the pizza because it's like, are you making pizzas? No. How can I make pizzas in my warehouse? No. I'm paying for it on my debit card, and I'm collecting back from. I'll call it the pizza shop. I place it when I pick up the pizza. So many people love that, the pizza and the weed delivery together. That was the first write-up I got, and I understood that because I was reselling the pizza. So I understood that right up. But when they wrote me up I'm like, I'm not selling a bottle of water. It's free. I pay like yeah. But anyway, just all the things you try to do from a marketing standpoint that I try to do, either the CCC shut me down or Facebook or somebody. It's tough, man. It's tough. I forgot what your question was, but
no, you're good.
Yeah,
I think we did it. I wanted to ask you, I feel like you mentioned something about like payment processing companies, or like one of them got in trouble and they tried to make you pay for a fine or something.
Try to make me pay. I had to. So we was with this debit card / credit card company. Anybody that tells you, because you're going to get these emails when you open up if you're a dispensary or delivery licensee, oh yeah, we have a compliant way to process debit and credit cards. It's not. Until the federal government legalizes it, you're running under the radar until they get caught. So we had this provider. He got caught, and when he got caught, so did we. And they held our money, the last deposit that they had sent to our bank. They that bank who was collecting the money through that processing company held our money for 8 months. And then when they released the money, they only gave us 50% of it as a penalty. And I'm just like, we're already struggling to pay the rent, and now here comes this. So just be careful. There's no compliant way to do debit card, and don't even try a credit card. Um, the I mean, we do take debit cards, but I'm of when that processor gets caught and here comes my email. So what I try to do is get them to send me nightly deposits so my money's not held up waiting, that they pay you once a week or anything like that. Somebody got in trouble, that the card ATM inside your location, and I can't remember the story exactly, but either they put money in the ATM to, like, it was out, or they put cash in the ATM, or they took cash out, something. Anyway, they got charged for money laundering because it's cannabis money that went inside the ATM machine that was in their shop. Like, Google it, like, getting arrested for a dispensary having an ATM machine in their location. Yeah, but yeah. Again, just be smart. Do your homework before you open up a cannabis business, regardless of what state you're in. Just do your homework. Talk to the people who are already in it and learn what not to do.
Duane, I want to ask you, and guys, Duane Harden from BlazeXpress here. We deliver happiness. I want to ask you a nice open-ended question here, and I'm sure we've touched on some of this stuff, but if you could rewrite the legislation and all of the rules and regulations, what would you change to make your life easier? Like, what are some things that would, like, help your business be more profitable?
Well, I believe in free market capitalism, but in this, there needs to be a licensing cap. I thought Massachusetts would have learned from Colorado and California, everywhere else, but they didn't. It's oversaturated. It's too hard to compete. So if I had to do, if I was writing the regulations, I would put a licensing cap. Yeah. That's the number one thing.
And whoever came up with that 2-driver rule, that was ridiculous too. I don't know where that came from, but
yeah.
Cost for no reason. Let's see here, Duane. I'm about at the end of my shit. I want to take a minute.
All right.
Let's pull me back up here. I always leave a little minute at the end here for my guests. So if you got any shameless plugs or shout outs, or you want to tell people how they can find your business, now's the time. Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Well,
please stick around for a minute after we wrap. But yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to Mike for connecting us from Infuse. Not so much of a shameless plug, but if you're at the casino ever in town, I've just given you a pool to get your weed delivered. But I mean, BlazeXpress.com. But more importantly for me, for this is also, I've given this to the social equity, the guy at the grant office, and he sent people my way. If you're out there, you're gonna have these consultants say, "Oh yeah, pay me $10,000 and I'll do your licensing application." Don't, especially with AI now. Don't. Just I'm holyokesmokes@gmail.com. Just send me an email and I will help you for free. Don't, like, when the inspector came for what they call the provisional, and they looked my vault. I used to work at UPS, and there was something called like a high values cage, where, because people are like, "Oh, you gotta get like a bank vault, you gotta get these rebar still enforced doors, and you gotta get this and card access to get in and out of doors." And I was like, I don't have the money for that. I found Global Industries. I bought eight by 10, like, this cage. Someone to put it in, and guess what? Because I read the guidelines. The guidelines just say it must be secured.
I'm losing you, Duane. Don't lose me now. We're almost done. Come back to me.
Yeah, bro.
It's a little, you're breaking up a bit here.
Is it there now?
There we go.
Yeah, my lock is an Airbnb lock. And the inspector was like, I can't write you up. It meets the guidelines. The car, people are like, oh yeah, I'm paying to get I'm got to take it to these fabricators to get these storage compartments in the car. Walmart, I paid $17 for a plastic container. Went to Home Depot and got a bicycle lock. Like you see, like these long cables that maybe back in the day, people used to like in an office maybe have like it locks up the laptop so people can't steal it. But anyway, got these cables, hooked them under, going through the black boxes I bought from Walmart for $17 underneath the car seats with a just a regular lock. The inspector came and he said, "This is the first time I've ever seen this, but you know what? I can't write you up. It meets the guidelines. It meets the guidelines." So that's what I mean by don't be paying these people 10 grand to get you do your license application. Just send me an email and I will help you. And the biggest thing is, download the PDFs because everything is online. Download the PDFs for the application process what's needed, and just upload it to AI and say, find me loopholes that will help me, reduce my costs. So I think I must have the cheapest build out in history. Airbnb lock, Walmart, like you name it. Yeah. But anyway.
Love it. You got to save money any way you can, dude.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I'm going to flash your logo one more time. I think that's all I got, Duane.
All right,
thank you
brother.
so much for being here.
All right, thank you guys. And again, holyoaksmokes@gmail.com if you need help.
Cool. I'm going to sign it off. Stick around for 1 minute, if you will, guys. I'm your host, Caleb Teskey. Remember, the devil's in the details, and the details are in the fine print.